Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Barack Obama, and the First Lady, Michelle Obama.
Welcome, Mr. President, Mrs. Obama. We're so pleased to have you here. I also know there's many members from the House of Representatives. I see Speaker Pelosi, and from the United States Senate and the President's Cabinet. If they could all stand so we could acknowledge you. Thank you. Mr. President, you should know that Johnny, being from Georgia, is really adjusting to the fact that this breakfast had quiche instead of grits. So I really don't know how he's going to explain that when he gets home. And actually, Johnny has been a great pal for me this year as the co-chair of the Senate Prayer Breakfast. And I can tell you that to show his support for his co-chair, he actually supported the Vikings over the Saints in the playoff game. That was a tough game. My fourth quarter prayers made no difference, but not even God can overrule a ref's calls.
You know, I ain't real sure it was the refs. It might have been Brett Favre's interception.
Very good.
We're honored to be here today, and I'm honored to share with Amy the co-chairmanship of the Senate Prayer Breakfast. She thinks getting me to pull for the Vikings was the ultimate reconciliation. Not true. Ultimate reconciliation is when Senator Bill Nelson convinced me to invite the quarterback of the Florida Gators, who beat us 4 successive years at the University of Georgia. Tim, welcome. We're glad to have you. This is a great occasion, and we are so delighted and honored that all of you are here today, and I'm going to turn it back over to our leader, Amy Klobuchar.
Thank you. Each week, Johnny and I and our fellow senators get together for our weekly Senate Prayer Breakfast. I always come away from it a better person. At our breakfast, a senator always speaks, sometimes about his or her faith, sometimes about a personal struggle, sometimes about the challenges of forgiveness after a tough political fight. Our prayer breakfasts are always real and refreshingly honest. And just when I'm ready to give up on working with maybe a few of my colleagues, it reminds me that we all share a common purpose and a common humanity, and that with faith and forgiveness, we can start anew. Now, it is my honor today.
I now have the high honor and distinct privilege of introducing the President of the United States. That is no easy task. Have you ever tried introducing somebody that is known to everybody on the planet? It's hard to find something unique and inspirational. Everyone knows of the historic impact of Barack Obama's election to the presidency of the United States. We all marvel at his oratory skills and his ability to communicate. And we all know his energy is boundless. We also know that his audacity of hope has given hope to millions of people around the world to aspire to the highest of achievement in their life. But it was his State of the Union that inspired me, is what I would say. Because I listened when he asked us to seek those things that we have in common, not those things that divide us. And then I realized that, Mr. President, You and I share one unique characteristic in common. We married way over our heads. With a magnificent First Lady like Michelle Obama, I felt it only appropriate that I'd introduce you today, sir, as the husband of the dynamic First Lady of the United States of America, President Barack Obama.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Thank you so much. Heads of state, cabinet members, my outstanding vice president, members of Congress, religious leaders, distinguished guests, Admiral Mullen, it's good to see all of you. Let me begin by acknowledging the co-chairs of this breakfast, Senators Isaacson and Klobuchar, who embody the sense of fellowship at the heart of this gathering, two of my favorite senators. Let me also acknowledge the director of my faith-based office, Joshua Du Bois, who is here. Where's Joshua? He's out there somewhere. He's doing great work. I want to commend Secretary Hillary Clinton on her outstanding remarks and her outstanding leadership at the State Department. She's doing good every day. I'm especially pleased to see my dear friend, Prime Minister Zapatero, and I want him to relay America's greetings to the people of Spain. And Johnny, you are right. I am deeply blessed, and I thank God every day for being married to Michelle Obama. I'm privileged to join you once again, as my predecessors have for over half a century. And like them, I come here to speak about the ways my faith informs who I am, as a president and as a person. But I'm also here for the same reason that all of you are. For we all share a recognition, one as old as time, that a willingness to believe, an openness to grace, a commitment to prayer can bring sustenance to our lives. There is, of course, a need for prayer even in times of joy and peace and prosperity. Perhaps especially in such times, prayer is needed to guard against pride and to guard against complacency. But rightly or wrongly, most of us are inclined to seek out the divine, not in the moment when the Lord makes his face shine upon us, but in moments when God's grace can seem farthest away. Last month, God's grace, God's mercy seemed far away from our neighbors in Haiti. And yet I believe that grace was not absent in the midst of tragedy. It was heard in prayers and hymns that broke the silence of an earthquake's wake. It was witnessed among parishioners of churches that stood no more, a roadside congregation holding Bibles in their laps. It was felt in the presence of relief workers and medics, translators, servicemen and women, bringing food and water and aid to the injured. One such translator was an American of Haitian descent, representative of the extraordinary work that our men and women in uniform do all around the world. Navy Corpsman Christian Bouchard. And lying on a gurney aboard the USNS Comfort, a woman asked Christopher, "Where do you come from? What country?" After my operation, she said, I will pray for that country. And in Creole, Corpsman Burchard responded, in Tanzania, the United States of America, God's grace and the compassion and decency of the American people is expressed through the men and women like Corpsman Burchard.